In this video, we will go over internal ratio division, and we will derive this equation right here. So let's say A is this point right here, B is this point right here, and I say that P is somewhere in this line. I'm going to say it's right here, and I know the ratio between K and L. It's a ratio. So let's say this could be like 3x and this could be 1x. So like the length of AP is 3 times the length of PB. Now, before I go over a concrete problem and I actually derive this equation, I will first, let's just think about a regular midpoint. Let's imagine that P is right in the middle. What would that mean? That would mean that K and L are equal. They're both 1 to 1. The ratio is 1 to 1. So K is 1, and L is also 1. And if I use that equation that we saw earlier, I put K is 1 and L is 1, we would get x2 plus x1 divided by 2, y2 plus y1 divided by 2. A regular midpoint equation. But let's say that P is not in the middle, but it deals with internal ratios. So AP could be 3 times as big as PB. So 3R and 1R. In this case, the K value is 3 and the L value is 1. And if I use this equation, it's very important that the order actually matters. You can't just say that this is L and this is K. It's very important that this right here is K and this right here is L. And then we would get 3 times x2, x2 is 10, plus L is 1, times 3 divided by K plus L, so 3 plus 1. And likewise, this equation, so K is 3, y2 is 4, plus 1 L times 4 y1 divided by 3 plus 1, K plus L. And we would get 33 over 4, comma 4. And it's kind of important, why is the y value the same? Well, think about it. A y value is 4, B y value is 4, so it's a horizontal line, so the y value won't change. The x value, is dependent on this ratio. Now, how can I prove that this is really the value of P? And I'll prove it using ratios. So what is the distance of AP? And what is the distance of PB? We can use the distance formula. So this right here is the distance formula, the square root, parentheses, x2 minus x1 squared, plus parentheses, y2 minus y1 squared. We determined the value of px. So I'm talking AP, very important, AP. So this is like x1, y1, x2, y2. So x2 is 33 over 4 minus 3 squared plus 4 minus 4 squared. And we get 21 over 4. You can double check. You can use a calculator. And next we will do PB. So we can do 10 minus 33 over 4 squared plus 4 minus 4 squared, and we get 7 over 4. Now remember, I made a big emphasis on ratios. So this point right here, so AP is 3 times as big as PB. So the ratio of the distance of AP over BP should also be 3 to 1. And let's check. AP is 21 over 4 divided by BP, 7 over 4. So 21 divided by 7 is 3, or 3 over 1. So next, I will actually, go ahead and prove that equation. So this is the equation that we saw earlier. And, we said that K is 3, because this right here is 3R, and L is 1, because this right here is 1R. And so if you use this equation, you get this. But what happens if you forget the equation? What are you going to do? We can actually derive it. So we can say that A is x1 comma y1 and B is x2 comma y2, and the P is right here, and that this length is 3 times as big as this length. So we can say that x minus x1 divided by x2 minus x, and that's going to be the same ratio of a 3r divided by 1r, or 3 over 1. We can do cross multiplication. So x minus x1 times 1 is x minus x1. x2 minus x times 3 is 3x2 minus 3x. We want to solve the x equation. So move the negative 3x over, you get 4x is equal to 3x2, move this over, plus x1, divided by 4, and we get this. And let's check. was this the same? 3x2 plus x1 divided by 4. 3x2 plus x1 divided by 4. So it's the same. And we can do y. With y, again, it's a horizontal line. And so we know the y value wouldn't change. And so if you think about it, y minus y1 would be like 0. And then y2 minus y would also be 0. It's 0 over 0. You can't divide by 0. And so, first I'm going to show this, and then I'm going to actually kind of explain what we would do. So this is the equation, and that equation came from, here. And whatever the equation is, whatever the equation of x, it's going to be the same for y. So we proved this, and so y would be the same. But let's just check. So let's say that y2 and y1 are both 1, because it's a horizontal line. So if this is 1, this has to be 1, and y also has to be 1. Let's check. 3 times 1 is 1, so 3, plus 1 is 4. So 4 divided by 4 is 1, so that's true. Let's try another one. Let's say this is 2, this is 2, and then obviously this would have to be 2 also. So 3 times 2 is 6, 6 plus 2 is 8, 8 divided by 4 is 2. One way we can think about this is, why is this so useful? I guess you could say, instead of a flat horizontal line, let's say you have a slope, so the ratio would be 3 to 1. So like the y ratio would be 3 to 1, the x ratio would be like 3 to 1. Another way you could think about it is, instead of a horizontal, you can have it vertical. So this is kind of useful. So if you ever forget the equation, you don't know what you have to do, you can always prove it using ratios.